You guys know.
Sorry.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have no one in the audience for personal appeals, but we have a few on our Zoom, and we'll unmute them and see if anyone wants to make a public appeal. If you want to make a public appeal, just speak up and state your name and where you're from and what your appeal is. Also, for the record, everyone is present tonight, and Councilwoman Baumgartner is here by Zoom. Anyone have a public appeal? Hi, Wes.
How are you guys?
Good.
I do have one. Wesley Barrett, 2851 Gulf Circle, Emmaus. Just wanted to offer a very quick thank you for allowing us to host the Halloween in Emmaus 5K race, which happened on Saturday. It was definitely a success considering the conditions. We had about 230 registrants. 195 people actually showed up that day. All 195 that went out, all 195 came back. It's an important fact. But overall, everyone was just so excited to do something that they love to do and felt safe doing it. That 3-hour time frame was more than enough to kind of socially distance, let people run against the clock. They still had fun with their costumes, but again, felt safe doing it, which was really nice. All smiles all the way around. And a few quick thank yous. One, I'd like to thank Chris Schmidt from the Keystone Running Store. He really helped us out this year. He was able to secure a donation for the race shirts, which is usually one of our biggest expenses each year. And then he also donated all of the age group prizes, which allowed this year to be a successful fundraiser. Same with First Commonwealth Federal Credit Union in Emmaus, which is the last 2 years they've been our presenting sponsor. This year, with being just a unique year, they were hesitant to do that, but still wanted to make sure that it was known that they feel this community is important and they wanted to be part of the community. So they donated all of the cash prizes for the winners as well, which was a huge contribution. And at the end of the day, it looks like we'll probably be giving a donation of about $3,000, which is right on par with what we've done in the past, even though we had less runners. So thanks to those two sponsors, that made it possible.
Yeah, that's huge. We appreciate it, Wes. How many years is it now? I know it's double digits.
Sure. Yeah, this is actually the 14th year. So yeah, 14 years.
Hard to believe, right?
Yeah, 2007 was the first year for the race, and we would have been more than happy. I think we had 160 finishers that year. So yeah, 195 would have been a big race. Now it feels small in comparison, but overall a definite success. And yeah, I appreciate Borough Council continuing to let us host the event, especially in the unique scenario that we had this year.
Well, hopefully we're back to normal next year.
Yes, me too.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Anything else, Wes?
That is all I've got.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with the public appeal?
Ask him to mute again.
Shane's going to unmute you. If anyone has an appeal, just state your name and what your appeal is. All right, hearing none. We'll move on to community minutes. Does anyone have anything to bring forward? Councilwoman McManaman?
President, just a quick agenda. Floater display application for the reverse Halloween parade is due this Friday, October 23rd, and that the reverse parade will be taking place on Saturday, October 30th.
Excellent.
It's very nice.
Not being recruited for that. Also, I was just wondering is there an update on where we're at right now as far as How many people have applied so far, or is that gonna be in your committee report later?
We are in crunch time right now, and this last week, I think we have at this point of participants. So it's
Okay.
critical that people get there. Many people have told us. that
And
they're-
do that like the dance schools and the karate schools and stuff like that, know where they can set up and do demonstrations that people drive by?
Yeah, we have either float or static display, the dance groups are talking through today. So,
Okay,
and people are considering it, so hopefully they'll come in and talk.
all right, I hope so too. Thank you. Anyone else with a community minute? Hearing none, moving on to, there's no special presentation, so reading of the minutes. We have the council meeting minutes of October 5th. Somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes? Councilman DeFrane, seconded by Councilman Hart. Any questions or corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. We have no decisions on bids. We have I think, 6 letters of communications. We have a volunteer application from Christian Barastro for, I think it's a joint environmental commission
And rec and entertainment.
and rec and entertainment commission. Interviews were handled already? What
For-
committee was that?
So recreation entertainment, that interview was handled.
Okay,
That's the most desperate need that we have
all
at this
right,
point.
so. Committee chairman. That's, Shanna. Shanna, you want to bring that forward?
Yeah, I can do it now or
That's fine.
during committee.
I've been
Okay.
doing it that way, so. keep it going.
Sure. So we did interview Christian prior to this meeting. We didn't get a chance to vote. We ran out of time on whether to recommend to council. So I just want to check with the committee members to see if they feel comfortable doing so at this time.
Members, are you all right with bringing it forward?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to put it in the form of a motion to have Christian Verostro, I hope I'm saying that right, join the Recreation Entertainment Commission as a board member. And I'm not sure when the
Make it the longest one, whatever it is.
right.
As long as it's available.
6/7 of 22.
Okay, with the term expiring 6/7 of 22.
All right, this motion on the floor. Councilwoman Baumgartner, second. Councilman Anders, any discussion?
Yeah, I apologize. It won't be 6/7 of 22. It would be 5/1 of 24.
All right, so you amend your motion.
I'll amend the motion for that term.
Roy, you amend your second? Yes. All right. We stand corrected with the term. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Or 7 ayes. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
We received a letter requesting 2 parking spaces in front of FD Market and for their business for November 14th for a grand reopening and to show off their new mobile market van. And I'll send that to Madam Mayor to handle. Joint Environmental Council volunteer application, Joseph Romanowski. Was this handled with an interview already?
No.
No. So who interviews for joint environmental advisory? Is that the
Health and sanitation.
sanitation? Okay, well, refer that to them. And then also, Recreation and Entertainment Commission. Have you interviewed them for that position yet?
Yes.
You ready to bring that forward?
Sure. As long as the other committee members are okay with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. So prior to this meeting, we interviewed Chloe Romanowski, who
Oh,
is
this is
a,
for Joseph.
what was that?
Joseph was the other one. Joint environmental.
Okay,
He put something in the bottom of his application that
So I was
indicated.
referring to him yet, because he put down two commissions.
Oh, I see. We did
So
not
you did
interview
not
him.
interview him.
We
Okay,
interviewed
so
his wife.
I'll
Yep.
refer him for an interview for that position also, so hopefully we can recruit him for both commissions. Okay, so going to Chloe now, we can handle her. Chloe
Okay.
Romanowski.
Sorry for jumping the gun. It's a little hard to hear some of the audio sometimes. So I heard the last name clearly. So Chloe Romanowski, we interviewed prior to this meeting. She is a recent resident of about a year, a little over a year, and was eager and full of ideas for the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. So I'd like to put in the form of a motion to have Chloe Romanowski join the Recreation and Entertainment Commission as a volunteer board member, term to be determined by
Shane.
Shane. Yeah.
Yes, book open.
5/1 of 23.
Okay.
May
5/1
1st
of 23. Yes. All right.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Baumgartner. Is there a second? Councilman Valier. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? There are 7 ayes. We also had another application for recreation and entertainment from Rosalie Sell. Has she been interviewed yet?
Yes, she has.
Would you like to bring that forward?
Yes, I would. We interviewed Rosalie Sell about midday today and spoke with her about her interest in the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. She's also a recent resident and interested in joining and being part of the community. She lives actually near a community park. So I'd like to put that in the form of a motion to recommend Rosalie Sell as Recreation and Entertainment Commission board member with a term expiring. Jane?
6/7 of 23.
6/7/23.
Motion by Councilwoman Baumgartner, second by Councilman Anders. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. We have 7 ayes. So we have 3 new members for recreation and entertainment. That's good news.
Yeah, we have a total of 4 now.
Which is one more than we had for 3 years.
Exactly. Good start.
Veterans Day ceremony. United Veterans Committee is requesting a section of the street be blocked off for their Veterans Day ceremony. For that to the mayor. That will be at Memorial Park, Triangle Park. Borough engineers. Oh, does anyone else have a communication to bring forward? Hearing none. There's no borough engineers report. Solicitors report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to let everyone know, we did sell the Rodale building at a successful settlement on Thursday. Funds came in on Friday. The matter is now over. There were some technical things that I had to take care of beforehand, but everything worked very smoothly. And I thank the 2 members of council who came in, wanted to watch the ceremony, I guess we'd call it. Second thing I would like to report on is the Verizon agreement is back. What has happened is that the Ninth Circuit Court has handed down a decision on the FCC prior rulings. Of course, it could be appealed to the Supreme Court. They have 90 days to do that. I don't think they will, but they might. And of course, the Supreme Court might hear it or might not. Nevertheless, the law is more firm now. I am willing to proceed with an agreement, or at least to try to reach an agreement with Verizon. I received their latest draft today after a very lengthy discussion with their lawyer. We are also wanting you to be aware that your planning commission has come up with aesthetic guidelines, and aesthetics are one of the things that was not affirmed by the FCC from the FCC ruling. So we're working with that. We're going to try to do a standalone ordinance and make the aesthetics not part of zoning, but part of the permitting. That will give you the option to grant waivers. So in other words, if someone says, I just can't build it that way here, can we do something different? You can make a decision, well, what's in the best interest of the community. And with that, I'll keep working on it, and I expect to have something within the next 90 days. As you know, it's a small wireless facility, the 5G. I know you are interested in getting it in here, and Verizon is very interested in getting started. And with that, I report progress.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I could,
Sure.
not related to this, I just want everybody to know, I think people are trying to Zoom bomb us. We did have one come in, start their video, I got them off right away, they left. Another person just tried to come in, and I left them sit in the waiting room for about 30 seconds, they left. Do you want me to let people in out of the waiting room? I mean, it is a public meeting.
I'm fine with letting
Just,
them in, but
just so you're aware,
keep a tight leash
yeah,
on.
just so you're aware that we've had about 3 try to come in the last 2 minutes, which is usually a group
Okay,
that'll come in and try to take over the meeting. Okay.
thank you for letting us know.
When you were saying about allowing for waivers and stuff, is there going to be time restraints on that?
Is there going to be what?
Time restraints, how quickly you go through it?
There are time restraints in the FCC decision, yes.
So in the summertime, when council only meets once a month, will we be able to meet those timeframes, or?
Yes, then currently the timeframes, I believe, I have to go back and look at the darn FCC decision. I believe they were 45 days.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, unfinished business part 1, we have nothing. We have an ordinance 1205. An ordinance amending the provisions of chapter 1, part 1, subsection 1 through 105, tax collector compensation of the Burley Mays Consolidated Code of Ordinances to amend the rate of the compensation and commission for Burley Mays real estate tax collector. This is the first reading. Properly advertised?
No?
Oh, will be for the second reading, okay. We made some adjustments on this. As far as compensation, as you can see in the first page, what we're currently paying compared to the school paying for the same amount of work, but their revenue is maybe 4 to 5 times more, and we're paying maybe 3 times more.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Dufresne.
Want me to just give a brief synopsis here?
Go ahead.
So due to the compensation calculation for our tax collector, based on gross real estate taxes collected by the borough, the position effectively gets a raise every time taxes go up. The last time the percentage was addressed, unfortunately, was 2 decades ago, 2001. So the new ordinance will get a tax collector position more in line with other municipalities. Effectively, as of right now, this is a 33% reduction in compensation on what that position receives on a real estate tax collector, not total.
And it's important also to note that it doesn't take effect immediately. It's an elected position, so it would take effect. Whoever gets elected next
Term.
is when it would take effect.
Right. All right, with that being said, does anybody have any questions for Chris before I ask for a motion to approve it? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve ordinance 1205? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Hart. Any discussion? So roll call vote. Councilwoman Baumgartner.
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman.
Aye.
Councilman Anders. Aye. Councilman Valiant.
Aye.
Councilman Hart. Aye. Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilman Langford. Aye. There are 7 ayes, and we have a second reading around
A month from now.
a month from now. Probably second meeting in November.
Yes.
Unfinished business part 2. We have nothing. Anybody have anything they want to bring forward that is not on the agenda? Hearing none. Mayor's report.
Thank you. All I have this evening is drug take-off day. It's coming up. It's Saturday, the 24th, from 10 to 2. That's a curbside service right here. Target. So if you have any medications, drop them off. And trick or treat's coming up. That's on the 30th from 5:30 to 8. Come out to the department. I'll be sitting there and handing out candy. No, nothing yet. You can turn that another way. I'll come up with something else.
Okay.
Progress.
Thank you. Committee reports. We have Public Works Committee, Chairman Anders.
Nothing for official action. Just want to let everyone know that we will be doing dredging at the Diver Creek. It's coming up to charge it here. That, debris that has accumulated there over time. This is something that we have for.
And not over time, and we don't have a grant. So it hasn't been over time. It happened from the flood.
Right.
We have an emergency permit, but we don't have a grant at this point. That's okay. I just want to make sure that we have that understood.
So we will be working on that. Besides that, we did have a conversation regarding the compost site. Yeah, and that's still the fixed machine. And, of course, we're discussing how to. And with that, report progress.
All right, Mr. Anders, I do want to point out we rented a machine for on the front of one of our vehicles that it is literally eating that brush up. So instead of doing what we were going to do, which is all backhoe work, it's like a giant, almost like a rolling wood chipper that they're able to just to mow through. They did a quarter of the side of the creek in less than 3 hours today. So we thought it was going to take probably at least a week. We're thinking more along the lines of 2.5 days. We have some final work. They met with the conservation district today around 1 o'clock, I believe, to firm up some of the erosion and sediment prevention plan, the silk sock, that kind of thing. So I would say probably the week after next, we'll probably be in there and get working. Well, we have to, it's an emergency permit, so we have to get it done by the deadline, which is December 31st. And it's a lot of work. That flood literally filled up the sediment to the top of the bank. And I have pictures in your budget message that I think probably are pretty close to depicting what it really is. If you go down to the footbridge and cross over the footbridge and you really look at it, it's bad. I mean, it is a rainstorm away from flooding. And it doesn't have to be too hard of a rain. So we definitely need to take care of that. The last time they did that was 1985, is what John Rice told me, because he actually did it in 1985. That's fact. It's not being facetious. He actually did the work in 1985. So, and he's doing the work again. So it's pushing it. There's no way we could bid that out in that amount of time. So we have to do the work. We can do the work. Obviously, it takes away from other work, but because it's an emergency permit, as I said before, if it wasn't emergency work, DEP would probably take 2 to 3 years before we would be able to do that kind of work. So we have to make it work.
Thank you for bringing that up. All right, progress then? Yes. All right. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee, Chairman Dahlia.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing for official action tonight. Our next meeting is October 28th at 4:30. With that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
We already took care of our action items, which were the rec membership. So we have nothing else to report. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 3rd at 4:45 via Zoom. Progress.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are no action items on committee, but several things worth mentioning. First, I talked to the mayor about this before the meeting. We discussed this at our chief of police, Steve Farm, participated in a Lehigh Valley wide group called Black and Blue Race Relation and Rhetoric. He was selected out of that represent 4 chiefs of police for community representatives to have ongoing discussions. Those of you who haven't had the opportunity to watch it, I believe we have it on our website and observe it. I say without a doubt that our chief did as well, to the point that subsequent to that, one of the individuals in the on stage that night, donated $2,000 to each one of the police departments that were there. Because of great work that he felt that they were doing. Additionally, here in our hometown, fire company number one also wrote a check out for $2,000 for honor of. I believe that that's worth mentioning, and I'm always still in the virtue of our police department. Not the same situation, so throughout the United States. Secondly, we have an election coming up based on and we had a discussion about appropriate surveillance protection, if you will, of our polls. Keep in mind that we are by law not allowed to have police at the poll. However, those complaints, et cetera, Board of Elections at the county, and they're handled that question to the go there to the district attorney's office. So, however, there should be increased surveillance around the county. So be on the lookout in terms of lastly, there was a discussion about a demonstration that took place in the triangle and thought about the demonstration. But as a result of, I think, parking spaces, et cetera, et cetera. And this created a lengthy discussion about the permits, et cetera, when this was handed over and then to last the department and some gave approval in advance from the boards of permit. If there aren't any questions, I'll leave it our next meeting is November 9th at 9:10.
Thank you. General Administration Committee is myself. Nothing to take action on, but we did discuss the hiring schedule, as you can read on the first page of the minutes, and we are going to interview architecture firms for our upcoming building updates, and the rest of the meeting was mostly spent on discussing budget, this upcoming budget. So that our next meeting is this Thursday at 9 a.m. With that, a report progress. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman DeFrank.
Thank you, President. We already took care of ordinance 1205. So we'll go to resolution 2020 -36, the bill list. So bill list for this period for period ending October 19, 2020 is $1,323,725.66. Payroll number 21 is $151,361.57. Payroll taxes $48,802.11 for a total of $1,523,889.34. The bill list is high because it's over $1 million over our 2020 MMO pension obligation in there. So I have to put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Councilman DeFrank, is there a second? Councilman Hart, any questions on the bill list? Or, all right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Next, our committee meeting notes are in there. The major, obviously, talk about the budget some. But the other item that we did discuss, the auditors from the CPA firm, were on a Zoom call, and the audit's just about finalized here. Nothing of significance came up in the audit. There's a few internal control items that every business, every company of our size can get us some internal controls. There are a few things that we can maybe tweak to make some things better, but overall, the audit came back pretty clean, of course. With that, Our next meeting is October 22nd at 11 a.m. on Zoom. I'll report progress.
Thank you. Community Relations Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for official action. Our meeting notes from our last meeting are attached, and most of that was sent copies by you. Our next meeting is on Monday, November 9th at 4:30. Unless there are any questions, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Junior council members report. I don't see Jonas on tonight, so you have one set of board and commission meeting notes for the ambulance. Personal appeals part 2, there's no one here. Is somebody online that would like to make an appeal? Shane will unmute you. All right, you are unmuted. Does anybody have a personal appeal? If so, state your name and what your appeal is.
Nobody unmuted themselves.
All right. Moving on. Borough managers report.
So I have a couple things. First and foremost, the ballot box is downstairs on the main floor. We are open from 8 to 3. I will repeat that for the one person in the room. 8 to 3. Monday to Friday. We are not going to open the door at 4 o'clock. We're not going to open the door at 7:40. It's open from 8 to 3. The people that want to throw stones at the window because we close at 3 o'clock just need to understand. But apparently there's a couple articles, and not from the person in the room, that have misinformation as far as hours. Today, I can tell you we had about 1,100 people come through our front door. We had to call the sheriff's office on 2 different occasions to empty that box because it was so packed that you could not put another ballot in it. We had to empty it twice. So,
And Shane, if I'm not mistaken, it's not just residents of Emmaus. Anyone in Lehigh County
yeah,
can come to this
so
drop box.
we were led to believe, and maybe it was just our misunderstanding, that every municipality in Lehigh County was going to get one of these boxes. So like a fool, I said, sure, bring one over. Not knowing that there's only 5 of these drop boxes in the entire county of 400,000 people. And I swear about 150,000 of them want to drop off in Emmaus. So we do have, we've been doing our best. The public doesn't understand that we have nothing to do with it other than we provided the location. And I understand, they think that we're a political entity. We would know, we would have the answers to every question. We don't. The county, I think, is so swamped. They did not answer the phone one time when we called, and we called probably 20 different times today. However, the nice thing about being in our line of work is we have cell phones of high-level officials. So we started calling cell phones.
Some of us do.
Yeah, well, so we started calling cell phones of the higher ups and threatening them that I was going to drop the ballot box off at their front door of their house and advertise it if we didn't get some help here. So we do have some answers for people that are asking questions, but my phone rang today probably about 40 times. 38 of those calls were, do you have the ballot box? So we are fielding questions all day about it. And look, we're happy to be part of the process. We're not complaining about that, but it is definitely, I think week number 1 here, I think it's going to be a real challenge. People were literally lined up like it was the election. They were lined up out the front door, down the sidewalk, down the corner, and all the way down the sidewalk today. Especially when the sheriff's office did show up and they had to unjam like the plethora of envelopes that were stuck in the box. It took them about 25 minutes to count everything. And the people were, lining up, waiting to drop off. So it is exciting that you see the high level participation, and that is exciting to see. But the logistical challenges, I do not think the county understood them. As Mr. Malchaney said to me today, they are learning it just as much as we are as we're going through the process. There's a video camera on the box. The box is chained to the stairwell. It has bricks in it, so if you want to pick it up and leave with it, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But we do have the location for people, and we just want we want the public to know that we don't have all the answers. So we would encourage you to get in line with us when asking those questions and calling the county. But you know, what we've advised people is if you think you messed up your ballot, don't drop it. Don't drop it in. Keep it with you. Call the county election people yourself. Get an answer. One of the common problems has been on the back of your ballot, apparently on the envelope, there's two places to sign, one on the lower left and then one on more like the upper right. And so on the lower left is where you're supposed to sign. The upper right is if somebody helps you prepare the ballot. You are not supposed to sign that upper right. A number of citizens have been signing it, and then they're frantically kind of scared of, is my ballot going to be invalid? We did get an answer from the county on that question because we had probably 4 people show up today with that question. And the answer is, all you have to do is put a line through that spot. You know, make sure that it's a nice black line crossing that spot out. Don't white it out, but put a black line through it, and they will accept your ballot. All right, and we have that in writing from the head of elections from the county. So that is the one big thing that we learned today to help people out. Other than that, you know what's on your desk. It's a 292-page budget message plus a draft. So that draft has every request that every department put in. I will release a draft as per the request of the Budget and Finance Committee. I will release a separate draft by the end of the week. I want to talk to Budget and Finance this week regarding how I'm going to handle that draft and what I'm thinking I'm going to include or take out as per their request to me. But they want to see a separate kind of draft with what I think would be our prioritization. And then I'll talk to them about how we want to handle moving forward in the workshops after doing that. But you're going to see 2 different drafts. You have the one that you always get with the umpteen $1 million deficit because we live in a perfect world and everybody gets what they want, and it's never right, never accurate, and that's not how the world works. That's how every preliminary draft you've ever gotten from me looks, because we include every request, and then you guys prioritize as we go. The committee also asked for me to, if I was prioritizing, they asked for a draft that would look as if I was prioritizing it as well. So we will talk through that on Thursday, so that by the end of the week, I will submit that to you at the same time. But it's important that you see everything in the first draft. So your budget message will discuss every single thing that happened this year, every single thing we're predicting for next year, and every single thing that was requested. It also has some financial recovery stuff in it. And a bunch of other information. So if nothing else, if you don't want to read the 2,000-page packet that you received in your iPads, read the budget message. And again, the way to attack things is when we're talking about general fund in the workshop, make sure you read through the general fund stuff for that night. I've given you kind of the calendar of what we're going to deal with each night. So I would prepare by dealing with that piece of it for that evening, because we do for the first 4 meetings or so, we stick to that script, and then it's after that where we start to really start to make the cuts and adjustments that we need to make. So that would be my recommendation, and best of luck in reading it. I'm sure you'll notice in there at what point in time it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I was typing, because it probably gets to be incoherent at that point, and when I started the next day. That's what you get with that big of a document. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will report relief that it's done, and we're moving on to the next part of the process. Progress.
Well, as you know, Shane locks himself away for about a week so that he can do this, and we always appreciate all his input because we know how much time he puts into it, and it's always very detailed, and that's why our budget process goes so smoothly, is because of all the work that Shane does for us beforehand, and plus the input from our department heads, and then we'll hear from them at our first budget workshop. and our second budget workshop will be from Shane. So with that being said, this is under President's business. We have, our next council meeting is the night before the election, and then election day is our first budget workshop at 4 o'clock. So if you plan on voting, if you did not mail a vote or drop it off in a box, make sure you schedule, because of the budget workshop, that you get it in before 4 o'clock. So just want to remind you of that. Also, we had 3 council members that had surgery all in 1 week, and I just want to say we're blessed that everyone is back to being healthy, and I'm so happy to see everyone here. I'm not going to mention who they are, but I'm glad that everyone's back here with us, and we're one happy family again. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Frank, second by Councilman Valiant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Meeting adjourned at 7:42.